Welcome to Kenect the Dots, a podcast where we unlock the stories that connect each and every one of us. Hosted by me, Zach Day, in partnership with Kenect Nashville. How do you connect? Hey guys, Zach here once again with Kenect the Dots podcast. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. Doesn't it look a little different in here? Yes, we moved to a different little location just for today, but it's going to be great. With me today, I have my friend Karman Meyer. Hi, Karman.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm loving this blue wall.
The blue concrete.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Well, thank you so much for coming out and doing this today. It's so nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
Karman is just a woman of many talents and has a lot of really cool stories and skills. And yeah, I was just like watching some of your stuff on YouTube and doing a little bit of research over the past couple days, and I'm super impressed with like all your cool stuff. You're an author, you're a cook, you're a dietitian, and right, dietitian's the right word.
Yes, got it right.
So just tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and your story. Just get us started.
Sure. Yeah. So I grew up in Ohio, Northwest Ohio. It's very flat there.
Oh yeah.
Small ag community. And went to college in Ohio. And in college, I was kind of like, I'm tired of the winters here. I need to move south. And so, of course, I was in college to be a dietitian. So once I completed that, I moved to Nashville. Part of being a dietitian is you have to complete about a year-long, they call it an internship, but it's kind of like a medical residency in that you're in one location and you're going to all these different areas of like a hospital and getting that experience before you become a dietitian. So I came.
Was that in Ohio? All that was in Ohio?
I came here to Nashville to do that at Vanderbilt.
Nice.
So that's where I did my internship and then just decided to stay since, like I said, not as intense winters here.
Yeah.
And Nashville is so fun. So
Nashville is a cool spot. Well, cool. I saw on I saw on YouTube you were doing like a cooking demonstration with some people from, was it Miami or?
Yeah.
Did you go to school there?
Miami of Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I want to make sure we're in the same part of the country. So yeah, Miami University is in Oxford, Ohio, which is just north of Cincinnati.
Okay.
It is the original Miami, which is a little fun fact. But yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm from Kentucky. We have, like, London, Frankfurt, like, all these, like, European-sounding cities and stuff like that, too. So, when you were growing up in Ohio, like, what kind of drew your interest to, you know, becoming a dietitian or food, or how did that kind of integrate itself into your life?
I love that question because, I mean, food for me has always been, enjoyment, truly. My family likes cooking. I cooked with my mom growing up, my grandma, and so I think that kind of started it. And then, like I mentioned, I grew up in an ag community, so...
Did you grow food or anything like that?
So not where we lived. My grandparents... they have a farm, and so it was something that I was, experienced with in that, or I guess tangential.
Yeah,
but
you had seen that in your life. You know? Yeah.
And in our small town, 4-H was a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's essentially, it is an ag focus, but there's also like cooking projects people can take, and so that's what I did. I was like baking bread at 9 years old.
I love that.
Going to the state fair and trying to win those blue ribbons for whatever I made. But I think that was like my first exposure to also nutrition and learning more about that back in the day, the food pyramid. And
But it's different now, isn't it? It's like a plate.
Yeah.
I don't know how I know that.
Yeah.
But.
Good job.
Thank you.
So like I said, that I guess sparked my interest initially and just kind of stayed. And then in high school, I learned about like what a dietitian is. And I just knew, I guess, at that point, I was like, I think that's for me. So
that's so interesting. Did you guys do a lot of like, do you come from a family that was really focused on what you guys were eating, or were you guys like very fitness focused? Do you think that fitness and diet kind of go together? Like, I don't know.
I think it's great when they do. And, my thought on fitness is maybe a little different than some is We don't have to go to the gym or like go to some workout class. Fitness could be manual labor, and hence,
or
agriculture,
out in the farm.
farming. Yeah, like it's a lot of hard work.
Oh yeah.
But that is a form of fitness and keeping your body moving and healthy. So there is that. No, my family was not, I guess, the fitness focus where we were, like I said, always going out to do activities, riding bikes.
Yeah,
I guess. But kind of the simpler
playing
things.
outside, whatever.
The simpler things. And being from the Midwest, it was traditionally, meat, potatoes, veggies, but it wasn't super health conscious.
Okay.
But
just making sure y'all were eating like just getting the basic needs met, right? And that food pyramid kind of thing. I mean, I think same growing up, like, I think my parents, especially my mom and my grandparents too, like, well, we grew up on a little farm, and so we grew a lot of food. So we were eating a lot of like fresh food and canned food, like that we would can ourselves, you know what I mean? So that was always really fun. But yeah, my mom was like super into fitness, and sometimes I feel like that kind of shifted my relationship with food too, like as far as like how I am today, because I'm like, I'm just super conscious about what I eat, and it's kind of like you have to have a healthy relationship with food, you know what I mean? And that's hard for a lot of people. So I don't know.
Yeah, it is. And what we grow up with really influences us. It's hard to change that sometimes, or maybe it doesn't need to change. But there's lots of thoughts, feelings about food, and I think when you leave your childhood home and kind of have to do for yourself, like you get to make a lot more decisions.
You can like, I can eat pizza rolls only if that's what I wanted. That was me in college.
Yeah.
So when you got your degree and then you finished your internship, you came to Nashville to do your internship, right? Then did you immediately start working where you were like, did it go from internship to a job, or is that when you're like, okay, I'm going to like start writing a book or doing like personal kind of like dietitian things, like for maybe like a celebrity or something like that? You know what I mean? I don't know how that worked for you, but
it wasn't as glamorous as that in the beginning. I was just looking for like a full-time job. Pay off school and all of that great stuff. I actually worked in long-term care, so like a nursing home, which wasn't what I thought would be happening, or I didn't see that in my future.
Right.
But honestly, I enjoyed the connection that I got to have with the people there, getting to know my patients and the people who lived there. And the great thing about being a dietitian in that setting is that it is not about a lot of food rules, really. It's like we just want you to eat and enjoy food. And so it's kind of a fun side, I guess.
I like that because, have you ever heard of like factor meals? I've been doing that a lot lately because I'm like, okay, this is the easiest way for me to get like everything I need in like one little place. But it is like microwaved, but it's so good. It's really good. But that's like what's been working for me, I guess. But then, can people like hire personal dietitians and stuff like that in their
Yes. So now I do see clients like one-on-one for coaching. And so there's lots of different ways that can look. I am just counseling people, talking through like what their day-to-day might look like, how to meet their specific health goals. There's definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of nutrition plan.
Totally.
And so it does help to really know that in your case, those factor meals work for you, and that's great. And so sometimes just having something that is like convenient, dependable, we don't have to go to the store. We know we're getting our fruits and veggies and whole grains, and that works.
And the protein.
Yes. And so that is what I do a lot now, in addition to like book promotion, speaking engagements,
Yeah.
some media work as well.
And cooking demonstrations. I mean, that was cool. I liked watching that because it was just like, oh, this is giving Food Network to me right now. And I love a Food Network moment. Yes. I really do. It's like so fun for me. I love like a Rachel Ray moment. But like, yeah, so when you're a dietitian though, are you experienced with like cooking and preparing foods for yourself and others, or is that like kind of different, you know? Because I feel like you could be a dietitian and maybe not be a good cook. I don't know.
You are right, actually. Yeah. Being a dietitian does not require you to have that culinary background.
Yeah.
That was something that personally I loved.
Okay.
And so I did a lot of like food service focus and more culinary focus very early on, like say college.
Yeah.
And then continuing on to get a certification in culinary nutrition.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and just like studying on my own, exploring with different things. But no, it is not required. So,
well, when you were going through all of this, then when did you decide that you were going to write a book about? It's called Eat to Sleep, right?
Yes, that was my first book.
That's so cool.
So, you know, I mentioned starting my career with long-term care, and it evolved and different jobs over time. But one thing that really stayed consistent was I had a blog in the very early days, like 2011.
Wow, yeah.
And just sharing recipes. And so in 2015, I was also writing for a magazine and sharing recipes there. And an article that I wrote for them was on like stress management, sleep, and nutrition and how they're connected.
Yeah.
And from that article and some of the other things that were just out on the internet, a publishing company found me.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, they wanted a dietitian to write a book about sleep and nutrition. And so, like I said, they found my stuff out there and reached out, and that's how it came about.
It lined up.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Great. So what, can you tell us a little bit about that book and like what your focus is when you were writing that?
Yes. So the book has 50 foods that we can eat more of to improve our sleep. So it is meant to be, you know, like a all natural solution where we can actually eat certain things and sleep better. Okay. And there's a section on, you know, things we shouldn't eat as much of.
Coffee and
coffee,
like whatever.
Having really large meals or high fat meals. So that's kind of what the book is about. We get into also like the connection between sleep and all aspects of health. I mean, truly there's not one area of health where sleep is not important. So if we're not sleeping well, we're more at risk for heart disease, diabetes, weight gain, even mental health issues. Like they can be exacerbated if we're not getting good sleep. And so it truly is like the foundation for good health.
I agree. That's so cool. Yeah, I remember you saying in that one video that I was watching, you're like, almonds are naturally melatonin or something like that. And I was like, well, good thing I love almonds. I mean, that's another thing with me too. Sleeping. I mean, I have nightmares like every night. I have horrible sleeping issues. Have you ever heard of the new thing now where it's like you can tape your mouth shut?
Yes.
Have you ever done it before?
I have not done that.
I tried it once, but my mustache didn't let me like.
Yeah, that would be to have like a head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, hey, I feel like that could be kind of cool. And I also use the Breathe Right strips sometimes. That helps me too.
Yeah, if you're like congested and like you can't breathe well through your nose.
Yeah.
I mean, that does really interfere with things. And there maybe could be some dietary changes that could help with that.
Definitely.
And the congestion. But like I said, that's where with the sleep and nutrition piece, it gets so individualized.
Yeah.
I love it because it's like solving a puzzle.
Yeah.
And I get to work with different people and like really, like I said, fine tune, kind of figure out what will work for them, what their specific sleep issues are, and what just needs to be tweaked. And it's also been really great to see that people then sleep better,
right?
And you feel better during the day. You can just be better.
Yeah,
I know if I don't sleep well for a couple nights in a row, like
it's miserable.
I don't want to deal with me.
No, same. Oh my gosh. And food, food just affects so much. Sleep for sure. Skin too. Like I know, like what are your thoughts on like oh, like if you have skin issues, like maybe you should try gluten-free or like keto, or there's all kinds of these different like diets that can, maybe some people think it's like a fad diet. I don't know. What are your thoughts on these kind of things?
Yeah, with skin health in particular, a big thing can be like excess sugar. Too many refined carbohydrates can cause some skin issues. And then we want to make sure that we're getting enough of those healthy fats. Sometimes fat is feared.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
no, we need fat. Every day, every meal even, we should have some good source of fat. And then hydration is huge.
Yes.
Honestly, I forget exactly what the number was, but I want to say like 75% of people are chronically dehydrated.
Yep.
So that is so important, especially like in the summer seasons. We really want to make sure we're meeting that hydration goal.
Totally. I will go through my own little diet phases kind of too. Sometimes, like I said, I'm doing like Factor now. I tried to do like intermittent fasting, and then I tried keto for a little while, and I was like, girl, no, I can't do that. And then I tried like gluten-free. My sister went gluten-free for a while, and she lost so much weight, but it was like, she wasn't like eating less, but she like swelled down or whatever. Like, and it was just because she had like, what is it called? Like celiacs.
Oh,
yeah. And we didn't know, but like that, it's weird how it's all connected to just.
Yeah, she probably felt so much better.
Yeah. And now she's lost like 70 pounds, and she's just been doing like really good. So that book when did that come out?
That was 2019.
2019. And then from then, did you see any difference in your career? Like, is that when you were like, okay, I don't have to do like the nursing home anymore? Like, how did that go?
The nursing home days were way in the past anyways at that point.
Okay.
I had worked in management and then in public relations, actually, which is kind of unique for a dietitian. And then also in like a wellness director position. So a lot of career changes.
Yeah.
But what, like I said, remained consistent was the blogging and the writing, media work. And so I was always out there just doing my own thing too, in addition to working full time.
Nice. That's so, I love that you were doing the blogs and stuff back then, because I feel like that's just, because now social media has just like affected the way that we all live our lives so much, especially like for me too, just like the fact that I get to do this is just because of like social media, you know what I mean? And like, have you been able to, like, do you have like a TikTok? Do you ever see like, you give some dietitian tips on TikTok or anything like that?
I have not joined the TikTok world.
Girl, you gotta get on the TikTok.
I'm in my late 30s, and I'm kind of like, it's scary to me. I'm like, I don't know if I can do anymore.
It's hard. It's a lot.
It's a lot. But I mean,
do you still do your blog?
I do have the blog. It's up there. Like I said, a lot of recipe content, so that kind of lives forever, and it just kind of supports itself now, which is awesome.
True.
So it's not a consistent thing that I'm adding to every day, but
it's there.
There.
Yeah.
Nutritionadventure.com was my first website.
Nice.
It's all recipe focused. But
nice. Yeah. So that one was Eat to Sleep, and then you have another one called the Everything Dash Diet Meal Prep Cookbook.
Yes, long title. So if you're
Dash.
if you're not familiar with DASH, it is an acronym for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. So high blood pressure, which most of us will end up having high blood pressure at some point.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's hard to think about, when we're younger. Yeah. But if we can, again, essentially eating our fruits and vegetables every day and getting the lean proteins, the whole grains, those healthy fats, we're setting ourselves up for success. But yeah, the cookbook has 200 recipes. They all have the meal prep directions in them, so that hopefully it saves you time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a fun book for me to write. The first book, Eat to Sleep, is more like running text. So it's like just a lot of writing.
It's a book.
Yeah, it's a book.
Like a full book.
Yeah. It felt like a book as I was writing it. But the cookbook is definitely like more fun because you get to test recipes.
Yeah.
And eat the recipes.
Yeah.
And,
Oh my gosh, I love a cookbook. I actually like collect some cookbooks because I love to cook. I love to bake. And so, yeah, I'm going to have to get a copy of that. Yes. I'm going to have to like look and see if I can make me some of these good old meals. And then you also had a PBS special program about Eat to Sleep, right?
Yes. So
that's so cool.
I loved PBS growing up. I still love PBS.
Oh my God, me too.
Stuff. But,
yeah.
So a producer reached out who has done a lot of their like special programs, and he loved the topic of nutrition and sleep and the fact that not many people are really talking about that. It's picking up now.
Yeah.
I'm noticing more conversation around food and sleep and how they're connected.
Yeah.
So I'm glad for that, but it's still a relatively new thing.
Yeah.
And so anyways, he was like, let's do a 1 hour special, and it was part of one of their pledge drives.
Nice.
So that was definitely a huge thing for the book. And
that's so cool.
Fun.
That's like a dream kind of for me, you know what I mean? Because like same, I love PBS like growing up and everything like that. So I want to get into a little bit of what you're up to these days. So I mean, you've come to Kenect at least once or twice, right? Twice, and done some events here. Do you remember what they were? I can't remember.
So in May we did a cooking with herbs class.
Yes.
And everyone got to plant their own little basil plant to take home.
Yay.
That was super fun. We had a great class. And then in April we did cooking for one.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I hear from people often is like, it's so hard to cook for one person, eat healthy, like not have a lot of food waste.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so true.
Not be like stressed out or spending a lot of time in the kitchen. So it kind of addresses all those things. I have, I think it's like an 11-page ebook.
Nice.
That's been on my website for a while, but just cooking for one, some of my go-to recipes. Married now, but for a long time I was cooking just for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, trying to share what I've personally done in the past, and like I said, just trying to make it easy, because nutrition and eating healthy, it doesn't have to be expensive.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be hard. We might just have to learn some new techniques, think things through a little differently, plan ahead.
Yeah.
But it definitely can be done.
Yeah, I think that's so true. It does take a little bit of work, but I think that self-care, that's a part of self-care, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just, I have my struggles with that because I'm kind of constantly on the go, constantly like in a different time zone. Like every week I'm in Nashville, I'm in LA, I'm in New York. I'm like always just hustling around. And so I catch myself being like, okay, it's 11:30 p.m. here, but like it's not that late somewhere else. I'm like, I'm starving, you know what I mean? Like, so I've been trying really hard to figure that out. So I'm gonna definitely try to make it to your next class, which is coming up soon.
Yeah, June 20th.
June 20th. Yep,
And
that's what it says here.
And we're doing better for you summer mocktails.
Yeah.
So, we'll
that's
have
fun.
Some fun snacks too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll make, I think, like 3 different mocktails, and obviously they'll have that nutrition focus too. One's definitely going to have the tart cherry juice in it for better sleep.
Nice.
Good source of melatonin.
Okay.
Maybe some people have seen that Sleepy Girl mocktail online.
Yes.
So we'll be doing something along those lines.
Fun.
Plus a couple others.
Okay, cool. So if y'all are around, come on out here on June 20th and we'll have some mocktails. How do you keep a healthy work-life balance? Like, what do you do to, like, I always talk about it on this podcast too, is just like, I think it's super important. Like, everyone that I have on this podcast is a hard worker. We're out here hustling, doing our thing, like everybody that I've had on here. But I think it's so important to find some time to unwind, unplug, relax a little bit. So I always ask, and everybody has different answers. Some people are like, I don't have a work-life balance. And some people are like, I like to read or whatever it is. I'm always curious. So what's that for you?
Well, I will say that meals for me are super important. And you mentioned the self-care piece. That really is essential for our day to be consistent with meals. And I know sometimes we get busy. It's like, oh, I can't stop for lunch right now. I just need to keep going. But we are better served when we actually fuel our bodies. It can be mentally, physically, emotionally, but just taking a little bit of time to actually fuel yourself, number one. And I know that is how I also manage that work-life balance, because if we're not eating, fueling ourselves, then we are more stressed, we're more anxious, and then it affects our sleep.
Yeah.
And so then it's that vicious cycle that's really hard to break. And we might not feel motivated to work out. So they're all connected. So that's for me, meals, making time for that. And other than that, getting outside. Like, I love to be outdoors. I have a garden. And so that's kind of my happy place, is just, tending to my veggies and my herbs, and do a lot of other outdoor activities like biking, hiking.
Love that.
Yoga. I am a registered yoga teacher now.
Oh, yogi.
This year, so.
Nice. Congrats. Yeah. That's cool. I love a little yoga moment too. I did like a 30-day challenge, and I felt so good after that. I want to do another one. There's this guy on YouTube, Tim, and he does just Tim. I don't know his last name, but he's Yoga with Tim. But he'll do challenges like that all the time, and I'm always like, man, I love it. It's so fun, and it is relaxing. It is. So another thing that I like to ask about is part of Kenect as a entity is just like community and connecting with other human beings. For me, the way that I connect with other people, or if I'm trying to make friends or meeting new people that are coming over, the way that I connect with them is through sharing life experiences. Most of the time I can find something to talk to about with anybody, whether that's we both have seen farm work, and then that could just start a conversation. And one thing I also love to do is I always have a pot of coffee on, if someone comes over, and I'm just I feel like that's kind of inviting. The smell, the taste, everything about it is just homey, and I feel like that's how I connect with people. So I like to ask how you feel that you connect with other human beings.
It is through food, truly. That's how I show people that I care, or that I'm thinking of them. I mentioned in the beginning that food is enjoyment, and it still is that for me, and that's a big part of connecting, and just it's giving a little piece of yourself.
Totally. Yeah, I love that. So, well, speaking of that, what is your favorite comfort food?
Oh gosh. Okay, so my husband is also a great cook.
Nice. You're lucky.
I know, I am. He actually makes beef stroganoff, which
that sounds so good right now.
From the Midwest.
Yeah, totally.
Beef stroganoff.
I love that.
Staple. And so he makes a great beef stroganoff. So that would be my comfort food of choice, is have him make it.
Yeah, right. And then you can just relax and eat it. Yeah. And do you have any food in Nashville that you're oh, this is my favorite food, my favorite restaurant, or my favorite place to go eat in Nashville? Something that people can go check out. I don't know. I'm always looking for good food,
Yeah. Well, City House has been a longtime favorite in Germantown. I love to go and sit down at one of their tables, but they also have the bar where you can, I think, order off the limited menu. So that's a favorite. And then I really love Vietnamese food. And so Vietnam Pho on Charlotte is a good one. We actually live out in the Bellevue area. We have Han's Deli.
Nice.
So Vietnamese food, or at least the dishes that I'm typically ordering when I go, it's still so light and refreshing, but colorful, getting a lot of veggies, protein, some carbohydrates. So it's still, to me, a very nourishing and well-balanced meal. And I love the flavors.
Me too. I mean, are banh mi sandwiches Vietnamese?
Yes.
I like those. Yeah. I heard someone on a podcast the other day talking about you know, what if you put shredded, like, or put carrots on a sandwich and someone's like, they do on banh mi sandwiches. And I was like, oh my God, I never even really thought about that. But that's probably the only sandwich that has like carrots on it, right? I don't know.
Yeah, one of the few for sure.
Yeah, but they're so good. Yeah.
Just like slightly pickled.
Yes. Think like a kimchi or like a what is it? Like a sauerkraut or anything like that. So good. Good for your gut, right?
Yeah. Great for gut health.
Do you like kombucha?
I like some kombucha. I wouldn't say I drink it regularly. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But it's good for you.
Well, your favorite comfort food, beef stroganoff. Do you have a favorite food what's your favorite food in general?
Oh, no, that's so hard. I love key lime pie. Now that it's summer, like, I'm just thinking about,
that sounds good.
Really tart key lime pie.
I support that.
Yeah. I'll just stick with that one
Key
today.
lime pie.
It's gonna change
I like that.
next week, but
Mine's so basic. It's just pizza. You know what
pizza's
I mean?
great.
It's my favorite food. I like sushi too. Okay, cool. Well, that's pretty much all the questions that I had for you today. So thank you so much for doing the podcast. Is there anything that you want to shout out? Anything coming up? Your social media, where we can find you? Anything like that?
Yes. So I'll be teaching classes here at Kenect through the summer. So hopefully you can come join us for those, and then people can connect with me on Instagram. It's at Karman Meyer. My name's spelled a little differently, so just being
Karman.
Yep, Meyer. So
nice.
and then my website is karmanmeyer.com.
KarmanMeyer.com. Okay, well, thank you so much. This has been so fun, and y'all be sure to check me out at Zach. Check out Kenect at Kenect Nashville. And also Kenect Phoenix. We got some Phoenix interviews coming up pretty soon, and I'm so excited about that too. And that's going to do it. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.